We are covering Chapter 12 on outlining. A lot of this information we also covered in Chapter 10, creating the body of a speech. A little bit of this is review, but it's always good to have good, clear outlining skills. So just a couple of things first off. We outline for a variety of reasons. In order for your speech to be as effective as possible, it needs to be organized into logical patterns. And if you skip a step in reasoning, then your speech is more vulnerable to lapses in logic, lapses in evidence you need to make your case, and you're at risk of becoming a disjointed, disoriented message. So basically, it's a mess. And in a speech, you have to be attentive to reasoning and logical steps so your audience understands the meaning you intend to convey. So you have to present things logically so your audience knows what's going on, so they can follow your argument. And it just needs to be presented in a way your audience can understand. And you can do this by making decisions about your main points more clearly, by organizing it in a clear outline. You can also more easily examine specific information you'll use to support those points. And you can also analyze the language you will use within the speech itself. So failing to use an outline can result in loss of logical integrity, which is what we just talked about. It can also result in a list of bullet points with no apparent connection to each other except for the topic. And it can also lead to an audience that's not able to follow your logical progression of the speech itself, which then hurts your attempts to inform, persuade, or entertain. Finally, if you don't use an outline, you'll miss a lot of points for your assignment because that's part of the assignment. And your instructor is able to tell if you have a messy outline by the way you're talking in your speech. It's usually incoherent, it's hard to follow, it's just a mess. So a full sentence outline is what we use in this class, and it has a lot of different benefits. First, it lays a strong foundation for your message. It really forces you also to have one clear and specific purpose. It helps you frame a clear, concrete thesis statement, which is the backbone of your speech. It also helps you exclude irrelevant information, so you can focus just on information that directly bears on your thesis, because you don't want extraneous information. It also reduces the amount of research you must do, which is good. We all have time constraints on us. The full sentence outline suggests what kind of supporting evidence is needed, so then you can use less effort trying to figure out what to do next. A full sentence outline also helps both you and your audience remember the central message of your speech. And it helps your audience understand your message because they're able to follow your reasoning a little bit more clearly than if you had no outline you're following. So we definitely want to outline, lots of benefits, very helpful for you and your audience. So when talking about reasons for strong outlines, first, it tests the scope of content. And this refers to a comparison of each main point to the thesis statements. And if you find a poor match, you'll kind of know that you've wandered outside the scope of the thesis. And what this means is you want to read each main point and see if it still relates to the thesis statement, still relates to the goal of the speech. The second tests logical relation of the parts. So often the main points of a speech can be arranged into a logical pattern. And we've talked about this also in Chapter 10 with the different organizational patterns. We have a chronological pattern, which arranges main ideas in the order that events occur. We also have a cause and effect pattern. And this calls on you to describe a specific situation and explain what the effect is. The biographical pattern is usually chronological. It describes the events of an individual's life. And when you do that, you want to choose the 3 most significant events. There's no need for you to go from birth to death. That would be a very long speech. And so what you want to do is just maybe pick out the 3 most important events and discuss those. Then you want another type of organization is the comparison contrast pattern. And this kind of appears to dictate just 2 points, but you can easily create a 3rd point by giving information about what is being compared and what is being contrasted. So your first point might be just general information about the 2 items, and then point 2 is comparing it, point 3 is contrasting it. We also might have tests also tests relevance of supporting ideas. So when you create an outline, you can clearly see that you need supporting evidence for each of your main points. As you're outlining, if a main point only has an A, you need to have a B. And if one of your main points has A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and your other main points have A and B, you can really tell that you've got some sort of imbalance, which leads to the next one. It tests the balance and proportion of the speech. So part of the value of writing an outline is the visual space you use for each of your main points. You know, is each main point approximately the same importance? Does each main point have the same number of supporting points? What have you. And going back to some of the supporting ideas, you might want to use expert opinion, you know, coming from experts in relevant fields. The evidence might not even be expert opinion, but it might be just opinions of what people are thinking right now, non-experts. And expert opinion does provide a stronger support for your point, though. So when you can get expert opinions, you want to get expert opinions. You also need to fully cite your sources so the audience can assess its importance as well. So if you're citing something from PerezHilton.com versus the New York Times, the different types of sources are important, and you need to tell your audience where you're getting your information so they can determine if you're talking with experts or you're getting your information from an expert or a non-expert. Next, we'll talk about the basic outline structure. You do need to have a general and specific purpose that helps you drive your organization. You need an introduction, including a attention grabber, and a concrete, specific thesis statement and preview. Then you need each of your 3 main body sections, working transitions between each of your areas, and then a conclusion that includes a restatement of your main points, the summary, a restatement of your thesis, and then a concluding device. That's the basic structure, and you've seen that several times as we've already talked about this in this class. So we have different types of outlines. The first outline is the working outline, and this is the outline you use when you're developing your speech, and it undergoes a lot of changes on its way from start to finish. And this is just the outline where you lay out the basic structure of your speech, and you might move things around, cross things off, whatever. And then we move to the full sentence outline. As it says, the full sentence outline should contain full sentences only. All parts should also be labeled, and these just kind of act as a checklist and help you prepare your speaking outline that comes next. Your full sentence outline has a full plan of everything you intend to say to your audience, so you don't have to struggle with wordings or examples. Now, I'm not saying you need to write everything out like it's a manuscript. I'm saying your full, complete thoughts should be written on this outline, because if you write incomplete sentences, you think incomplete sentences, and then you speak incomplete sentences, which is really helpful for public speaking, obviously. With the full sentence outline, you start to get a clear idea of how much time it will take to present your speech. And it contributes just the fundamental ingredient of good preparation, which is part of your ethical responsibility to the audience. So showing that you've thought about things, you've prepared, you've practiced, that all goes into this outline. And then the third type of outline is the speaking outline. And this is a pared down version of the sentence outline, and it consists primarily of keywords, phrases to help you, the speaker, remember the full content of the sentence outline. And if you have your full sentence outline with you, you end up reading it instead of speaking to your audience. So you don't want to bring up your full sentence outline. And in fact, for this class, you get points deducted if you have more than just keywords on your speaking notes. A couple of tips for your speaking outline. You want to use keywords and phrases, but not full sentences, again, because you'll read them. Also on your speaking notes, you want to write out lengthy quotations that are important for your speech. Anytime you're using a direct quote, you want to make sure you're giving the accurate quote with all the words in the proper order. So those are okay to write out fully so that you can read it fully. You don't want to misrepresent anything there. You want to number your sheets. If you have more than one sheet, just in case you drop them all over, you need to be able to put them back in order. Write or type on only one side of your sheets. And that's just so it doesn't look so messy to the audience, and then you don't have to worry about flipping sheets over or anything. You want to practice with your speaking outline, and this is just so you become comfortable delivering your speech from them. You might also want to include notes about your presentation aids on your speaking notes, so you know when to hit to the next slide, or you know what to point to, anything like that. The next thing we'll talk about are the 5 principles for a logical outline. And again, we covered some of this previously, so it's going to be a little bit of review. So the first principle is singularity, and that's just that each part of an outline should express one idea and one idea only. Similarly, you want to make sure your thesis statement also expresses only one idea. Each main point should express one clear idea. And if different ideas are required to build the complete message, you can handle them in separate sentences with the use of transitions. You might want to say like at the same time, or alternately, or in response to that event, or some other transition that clarifies the relationship between 2 separate ideas. The second principle is consistency. And so beyond grammatical requirements of subject-verb agreement, obviously, you want to maintain a consistent approach in your writing. So unless your speech has a chronological structure, you should use one tense, so past tense or present tense, to use throughout the speech. If you're using chronological, you might use past tense and then future tense, move to the future, but it just depends. But otherwise, you want to use either past tense the whole time or present tense the whole time. You also want to choose language and use it consistently throughout the speech. So if an idea or a concept that you're talking about goes by multiple names, you want to choose one of them and then just stick with that name so you don't confuse your audience. You also want to define terms and use those terms only to designate the meanings in your definition. So you just want to be consistent with what words you're using and how you're using them. The third principle is adequacy. With definitions of terms, you should use concrete language as much as you can. You want to define any key terms in your speech to ensure that everyone knows what you mean by those key terms. You might not find a definition of a key term that really conveys your meaning. And so I'm thinking of things that are relatively brand new, or they're slang terms or colloquialisms. And so you need to define for your audience what you mean in the speech. So you say, and by this word, I mean whatever it is. And a lot of times we also have terms with a variety of definitions. And so if you use the term blocking, if you're a football player, blocking means something completely different than if you're an actor versus an architect versus somebody just playing with little blocks. It means a lot of different things. So you do want to define your terms. You also want to support your main points adequately. So evidence of the right kind and right weight are needed. If you make a substantial claim, you need those expert sources that we talked about before. And that means you need at least 2 well-known experts from institutions that provide the news or provide academic information. They should be credible sources, not people or entities with extreme views. So you want to make sure they're credible, and you want to make sure that other people think that they're credible too, not just because you believe it makes it so. The fourth principle for a logical outline is uniformity. And a full sentence outline immediately shows if you're giving equal time to each of your 3 main points. And a full sentence outline also shows if each main point is directly related to the thesis statement. And then the 5th is parallelism. And this is the idea that the 3 main points follow the same structure or make use of the same kind of language. It also allows you to check for inconsistencies and self-contradictory statements. So you need to be parallel, uniform, adequate, consistent, and singular when you are creating your logical outline. So again, outlining is really important. It is the basis of your speech. And so you want to spend some time creating your outline, making it thorough, making sure you follow those principles of outlining, so then you can have an awesome speech.